What's happening, everybody? Trey here, joined by my dad, Sean, and today at Reactions to the Classics, we are up to 1985 in our top 5 albums by year draft. Been a fun series, Dad, and we're cruising through the 80s to, in my opinion, the strongest year of the 80s.
For sure.
Up to this point.
Yeah, no doubt. And the way this works, I get first pick on this draft. Trey gets 2 and 3. I get 4 and 5. Next year, we'll switch that around, but you got to let us know who you think won, so be paying close attention. We'll review who picked what at the very end. Trey, just a little context. I was 14 years old, turned 14 years old in 1985. A gigantic music guy, but I knew all the mainstream stuff. I did not know any of the stuff that was really, really good. So this has been a fun journey for me. And I tell you all that to tell you that the past 2 years, I've picked stuff that was very commercially successful. Not intentionally, I listened to a lot of other stuff, but this is the year. This is the year where I'm going to pick stuff that if you grew up in the United States, you're going to go, what was this?
Oh, no, definitely, man. And having said that, what is your number one overall pick? This stunned me. Not because I don't think this is a really, really good album. I just, I didn't expect you to pick it number one.
Yeah, the old man pulled out a stunner on the boys. Still got it in him. This is The Sea by the Waterboys. Their third album, 37 in the UK, 9 songs. Title track, The Hole of the Moon, Don't Bang the Drum. Mike Scott's songwriting is off the charts. This may not even be their best album. This is considered the last of their big music albums of the 3. Mike said later on, he goes, after we did this one, I didn't need to do it that way anymore. So they change up their sound a little bit. But number one for me, the Waterboys.
Well, I will say the title track is just an iconic closer, man. So I do like that album. I would not have chosen number one myself.
I knew what you were going to pick number one, and I wouldn't have chose this album, and I knew it was going to be yours.
Miss Kate Bush already right here. Yeah. She has the Hounds of Love already by her side, man. Got to go with this. Her 5th album. It topped the UK chart, man. First side. What I really like about this record, man, is it's really a tale of 2 albums.
Yeah, and that the first time I listened to it, I'm like, man, that side 1's good. That side 2 is very weird. But yeah, go on.
So, you have the first side filled with the more, I guess you could say, commercial, mainstream type of songs in the sense that, there's still a lot of artistic stuff going on. But you have Running Up That Hill, a deal with God. Say that 10 times fast. Just one of her best songs, in my opinion. You have the title track. You have The Big Sky, which is so catchy and almost danceable. Mother Stands for Comfort, I love. And then one of my favorite songs of all time, Cloud Busting, is also on that first side. So you start with that, and then you go to the second side, which is a concept called the Ninth Wave, about a woman drifting at sea after a shipwreck, going through near-death experiences, and it kind of delivers a myriad of genres in the midst of this that reflect the state of our character as we're kind of living this tumultuous time out with her, and you kind of kept on guard as the listener because there's so much musical shifts from song to song. You have a bunch of darkness and like Waking the Witch and the Jig of Life, which stands up to its jig name. It showcases too, I think, Kate's just unbelievable ability to weave a bunch of different types of sounds, and then you finish it off with the Morning Fog, which is gorgeous through and through, and showcases the greatness, I think, of Kate's voice while seeing our character survive it all and appreciate life even more.
Yeah, and if you didn't catch everything he just said there, because he said a lot, rewind it and listen to it if you plan on listening to this album, because if you're just spinning it, when you get to that second side, you're like, this is really weird. But if you understand the context that Trey laid out, then you're going to get it.
Makes a little more sense.
It does. Yeah. And the next album, your number 2 pick, would have been my number 2 overall pick, but you got it just one notch before I could have gotten it.
That's right, man. I chose these guys maybe a bit controversially, number 1 with their Let It Be album
You're giving away the
last year, but I'm going with Tim by The Replacements, man. Their 4th album, I think it's just an alt-rock classic. Catchy pop sensibilities, but it still sounds fresh all these decades later. A bit more of a mature release than Let It Be, maybe lyrically. You have songs like Swingin' Party. The closer, Here Comes a Regular, one of my favorites. And yet again, just shows how Paul Westerberg, the singer-songwriter, are able to relate to those maybe outcast of society, and then got tracks like Bastards of Young and Hold My Life, which bring the energy, and Left of the Dial cue up the young and in love quality that the band can also pull off. So I think the best sides of The Replacements are kind of apparent on Tim.
Yeah, I agree. My next pick, my number 2 pick, we've run most of this man's discography, but we ran it all in order except for this one. This is the first one we ever did. Shout out to Josh for bringing this one to us. My number 2 pick, Rain Dogs. Tom Waits.
Awesome album.
His best album, in my opinion. I know some people think it's Swordfish Trombones. I think it's this.
I might put Bone Machine up in that.
I know you would. I know,
too.
and that's really controversial. But 8th studio album, NME Album of the Year, which was a courageous pick by NME. I love it. 19 tracks. Singapore, the opener, Union Square, and then the 2 classics to me, Time and Downbound Train, which I knew because I knew the Rod Stewart. But Rod covers a lot of great songs back in the day. But this was the Waits album that, we'd heard some of his stuff in the live streams, and I'm like, man, it was older stuff, newer stuff, Clash, that where he was older and the gruff voice, and it's like, whoo, but on this,
what do we got in store?
And you got a mixture here, where you got that gruff voice and what is this dude doing, and then some of these just beautiful songs. But his songwriting's fantastic. Just love Waits. All right, my next pick, my 3rd pick, Psycho Candy, the Jesus and the Mary Chain, their debut album, 14 tracks, only 39 minutes.
Great record.
Got Never Understand, got Trip Me Up, and got a song that I just absolutely love, just like Honey Trey. It's greatness.
Oh, yeah, it's fantastic.
The album's considered a landmark recording. Its combination of guitar feedback and noise with traditional pop melody and structure proved influential in the forthcoming shoegazing genre and alternative rock in general, Trey. And just the noise and just the soundscape, I'm telling you, man, it just, if you like that kind of music, it hits you right away and sucks you in.
Oh, definitely, man. They're a group that I've heard that record, and then Darklands from '87 is also really, really strong.
It is.
And it's just got that certain type of atmosphere and vibe that you don't really hear in a lot of music nowadays either. So I like that pick from you as well. And I'm gonna keep over in the UK with my 3rd pick, man, with my favorite record from this group, New Order's Low Life, their 3rd record. New Order wasn't messing around when they cooked up one of the great synth pop albums of the 80s. Each of these 8 songs ranges from good to phenomenal. Jillian Gilbert synthesizers mixed with the always great Peter Hook's bass lines, man. Give it a fun rhythmic quality that stands well to present day time. The Perfect Kiss, Love Vigilantes, and the Elegia are highlights for me right here, man.
Good album, good pick.
And with just 8 songs, it breezes on by, in my opinion, and you could just get lost in the sense and just the atmosphere that New Order's putting up, man. The drum machine, it all works quite well. And going now to my 4th pick, again, man, UK, shout out, y'all.
I would have taken, well, I don't know if I would have taken this. You're so loaded, but this is a great pick.
Going the Smiths, Meat is Murder. I have a reaction to this record up.
That's right,
if you so choose to check it out.
I'll link it below.
Their 2nd record, I know you chose their debut.
And I would have chosen this.
And it was their only number 1 UK album. A lot of people are surprised to know that The Queen is Dead it didn't hit
Shocking.
number 1, but it didn't. Morrissey here takes shot at authority figures in his life while also getting a bit melancholic on That Joke Isn't Funny Anymore. And the best song of the bunch, one of the best Smith songs is Well I Wonder. It is a step up from their debut, in my opinion. It's a bit more varied musically, and you continue to have more kind of stepping up, experimenting a little bit with his guitar sound, which he's one of my favorite guitarists, and it all works well. So shout out to the Smiths, man.
And my next pick, and I shared this in last year's, but you guys may be watching these back to back. It may have been a week, or you might not have watched last year. I own this cassette of this album that's coming up, but most of the stuff I own, I only listened to the songs that were hits off of it, or I didn't think that well of it retrospectively. I wasn't even going to go back and listen to it, but last year Madonna came onto my list thanks to you.
That's right.
And this year these boys come onto my list. Songs from the Big Chair, Tears for Fears, their 2nd studio album, number 2 in the UK, 1 in the US, their most successful album. Of course, you got Shout. It starts out with Shout, Head Over Heels, and the iconic Everybody Wants to Rule the World.
That's one of the great songs of the 80s.
It is, man. And one of the things that made me want to do a reaction or listen to this as well was I did a reaction to Bad Man's song off their next album for Dan, one of our patrons. I'm like, you know what? That was awesome, man. Maybe I got to go back and revisit. I think part of the problem was Shout and Everybody Wants to Rule the World was everywhere. But Kurt and Roland were firing on all cylinders on this one. It's a very, very good album.
Oh yeah, man, I listened to it too, and I'd known the hits, but listening to the full record was just really impressive. And I mean, at the time we're recording this, they're gonna come out with another record here in 2022 in a couple months. So they're still going strong, man, which is always cool to see.
Yep. And my last pick, and this was hard, because I'm telling you guys, I'd like to take about 5 of the albums that I had on my list that didn't make it and transfer them to a few other years that were much weaker. I'm going with the Pogues, man. Rum Sodomy and the Lash. Second album, 13 in the UK, 12 tracks. It's so nice because some of them are traditional, some are Shane MacGowan written, so varied in its lyrical content. You got A Pair of Brown Eyes. The old main drag is awesome. Dirty Old Town.
Dirty Old Town.
Ends with, and the band played Waltzing Matilda, which of course is a traditional, but their version of it is just tremendous. And you know, every time I listen to Shane and the boys, I don't even drink, and I just want to go to a pub and have some beer.
Man.
So if you're over in the UK and you would like to invite me, I'll gladly accept. But that's my 5th pick. But Trey, what really pains me is your 5th pick. I wanted to. Because I wanted them last year and I didn't get them, and I wanted them this year and I didn't get them. So who do you got?
Dude, man, yeah, we're really UK centric here, ladies and gentlemen. Because I'm going with the Chameleons. What does anything mean? Basically, their second record, you know, their debut, as you mentioned, appeared on a previous list.
Yes.
Excellent production. Shows how the guitar, strings, and keyboards just seamlessly, you know, integrate together, and yet you get that more kind of pretty post-punk sound. I guess you could describe it as. Intrigue and Tangiers is a contender for Song of the Record. That's one that really just stood out to me. Been on my playlist ever since, man. And I can't help but appreciate Singing Rule Britannia's call back to the Beatles. She said, she said. Yep. They even credited old Lennon and McCartney in the notes for sampling it a bit there. And so yeah, man, just a really strong. If you're down with that kind of UK post-punk sound,
you'll love it.
You'll love this album, man.
All 3 of their first 3 albums are just fantastic.
And you know, as I'm looking at our list, man, it's I think we got Waits as an American, and we got the Replacements. Everybody else was from Europe, baby. So.
I didn't even realize it. Well, I'm going to get a couple Americans in here on my first honorable mentions. Scarecrow, John Mellencamp, very solid album. This one and his next one, The Lonesome Jubilee, by far his highest quality albums overall. A band that's appeared everywhere. This is I don't know if this is my least favorite album there, but Fables of the Reconstruction.
I think it's my least favorite IRS album.
Yeah, I think it is actually by a long ways. And then The Church and their album Heyday, just fantastic.
We also got The Cure with The Head on the Door. We did a full album reaction of that. Cure, really, really strong record from them, man. And you have Aha's Hunting High and Low. You have, of course, Take on Me, which is just iconic. But the whole album,
The Sun Always Shines on TV. That was the second single. I remember that, man. I mean, I lived through the Aha. Like, wow, that video is unbelievable.
What is this? Prince's Around the World in a Day. Really, not the strongest Prince release, but still really good.
Well, Trey, I got to tell you, Living Through is a little disappointing after Purple Rain. Still a good album, but you're like, dang, man.
A nice kind of pop group, Strawberry Switchblade, self-titled. And then this wouldn't really be on my honorable mention, but I feel you almost have to mention a record that sold 30 million copies. I think it's one of their weaker releases.
I do too.
Dire Straits is Brothers in Arms.
No Money for Nothing ever, but that was just because it was oversaturated. But they're a great band. Their earlier stuff is fantastic.
But I listened to it, looked it up, and saw 30 million
copies.
Crazy, dude. Wow, man. Well, good for
Mark and the boys
and company for just getting such success there. But those are our honorable mentions. Let us know your favorites of this year, ladies and gentlemen, and also which of these 2 lists you're going to choose. I think this is the closest in quality
because we have eclectic, weird stuff to people who aren't who only listen to mainstream music and go, "What are you guys doing?"
That's man. I'll be curious what the people are gonna say at the bottom, man. But we'll be back next week with 1986 as we're cruising along in the second part of the decade, Dad.
Yeah, and if you'd like to support us in any way, check out the Patreon link below. The patron link on the end screen. One of the perks of being a patron, you get to vote on what album is going to be nominated for a listening party from each year. We get 3 or 4 of them. We put all the winners together and we do a listening party once a month over on YouTube. Also, that allows us to keep the lights on here.
No, definitely. And until next time, y'all, thanks so much for watching. Happy listening, and we will see you.